Hello and welcome to the SC Playbook NFL podcast, brought to you by our proud partner, Sasha Legal. I'm Jakob Funk and I'm joined by Josh Clutterbuck and Eden Richards. This week we're recapping week 4 of the NFL and everything you need to know ahead of week 5. So that includes trade-ins, outs, captaincy options, and everything that you need to know ahead of the first buys of the year this week as well. Make sure you subscribe to our podcast on YouTube or Apple and Spotify, wherever you're watching or listening. The weekly podcast will roll out throughout the season. Weekly articles as well from our great team of contributors, including these two boys over at scplaybook.com.au. Make sure you're giving us a like and a follow on the socials as well, at SC Playbook NFL on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok. Make sure you're joining the SC Playbook Unlimited League as well. The code is 819860. Not too late to join there. Take on our contributors and the community. If you knock us all off, it's $1,000 in cash if a subscriber wins that competition. If it's a non-subscriber, $500 to the winner and $500 to the top-ranked subscriber. So it pays to be subscribed. You get access to all the premium content, including the extra articles, our WhatsApp community, league prize money, as we've just mentioned, and all that and more for less than $2 a week. So you can sign up via the menu on our website. Boys, week 4... a little bit lower scoring than the previous weeks. How did we go this week? We'll start with you, Mr. Former 10th overall, but I think not so much anymore.
Yeah, God, we've dropped down again. I went from 13th to 130th this week. All I could say is footy finals over here in AFL and NRL have made my brain go to mashed potatoes. So I sort of forgot to actually check what I'd done, and I'd put the captain on Lamar instead of Josh Allen, which I was originally looking at using my flex on Allen, but then I just didn't have a look at anything else and forgot that I had VC'd him. So I missed out on a stack of points there. I had Malik Neighbours go down injured. He only got 6 points as well, and I thought, can't be that bad. At least like those points are going to go. I said the other week I'm going to bring in a staunch defense with the Green Bay Packers, and they gave up -6 points. So not good. I'm 501. I had single-digit scores, as I said, from Malik Neighbours and Jamar Chase as well. So look, Jamar Chase was really, really, really disappointing once again. We'll get into it a bit later, but I think could be eating my words on some things that I've said about Jamar in the last couple of weeks. But look, 501, still a good score. I'm still in the top 1,000, which I'm happy with. But yeah, I left a lot of points on the board this week, which could have kept me in my position or maybe not dropped as much.
From top 10 to top 1,000, fall from grace, eh?
Well, 130. I don't know what you're sitting at, Funky, but it's not as good as that, and it never will be.
Certainly not. How do you go, Eden?
Yeah, a bit of a what could have been week. 449, which is pretty frustrating when I had Hampton and Genty on my bench, combining for 125 odd points, so that really, really hurt. And then I thought I had the C on Allen, but it turns out I had it on Lamar, so that really bit me on the arse as well, especially after I wrote last week that you have to captain Josh Allen this week, and apparently I didn't even follow my own advice, so going well there.
Mate, back yourself.
Yeah. So look, if I make a few changes there, it's a huge week, so like, I don't know, I've got a good team there, but just a few silly decisions have, probably hurt me in the end. But could be worse.
It could be better. 520 for me this week. If you're watching on YouTube and wondering why I've got the journo get up on, it's because we're officially back in business at Loop the Loop Football Club. 520. I've jumped up 1,000 rankings. So from being outside the top 5,000, I'm ranked 4,002. Which is a win for me, considering how terrible the start of my NFL Supercoach career has been.
I was going to say, mate, you're throwing shade at me for saying I'm still in the top 1,000, which I was just being reasonable, saying I'm back to 130, but mate, you're still sitting there in 4,000.
When you're ranked outside the top 5,000, you've got to take the little wins. So, so one of those wins was today, the Denver Broncos defense, 20 points. Great week to be a Broncos fan, I reckon, in any code. Whatever sport you follow. Yeah, Denver absolutely put a number on Cincinnati. Definitely. In Monday Night Football today. Yeah, some other guys went bananas for me as well, which we'll get into a little bit later. And a few guys that underperformed, Jamar Chase and Ladd McConkey. So I did have McConkey on my bench, but potentially could have had even more points If Chase had fired, but feel pretty vindicated for getting in guys like Javonte Williams and holding on to Genty and starting him. I had Judkins 38 on my bench too, which hurts.
Yeah, mate, if I have a look at my bench, so I swapped Hampton. Hampton still scored 49 points, but I swapped him for Genty, who had 64. I also forgot to put Igbuka back in. He scored 36, and McMillan still got 16, but it's like that's another 20 points. So if I did everything that I should have done, I think I would have had over 600 points this week, which is really, really frustrating. But, it is what it is. Like, it's just sometimes you get on the beers from Thursday through till Monday morning and these things happen. But, yeah.
Sometimes the Brisbane Broncos make a grand final.
Yeah,
or Melbourne Storm if you're close.
Or Melbourne Storm if you're me. So I've been celebrating for a long while.
Fan.
Yeah, it's
Yeah, always have been, always will be.
There's a lesson in this, though. If you are planning on going on a bender, make sure your team's set by Wednesday. Right?
100%.
Yeah, which might be good advice to a few people if you're NRL fans ahead of the NRL Grand Final on Sunday. Yeah, make sure that you have your team set and make sure you're having a pretty good look at them. Ahead of the weekend because you want to plan in advance, particularly if you're in the great state of Queensland or if you're a Melbourne Storm fan, which actually a lot of them do reside in Queensland. Anyway. Getting on to the guys that are traded out this week. So Malik Neighbours is number one. I'll couple him in with Tyreek Hill, number 4. A few pretty rough injuries there, particularly Tyreek Hill's.
Can we just have a moment of silence for Tyreek Hill?
Yeah. That was pretty rough. They reckon initially it looks like really, really bad, but they reckon 6 weeks out because it's just a dislocation. I'm like, surely when your leg's pointing the other way, you can't come back in 6 weeks.
He was celebrating. He's like, I don't have to play for Miami anymore. I'm done. He was cheering as he went off with his leg facing the wrong way.
Yeah, exactly.
It's bad when they don't replay it. I reckon that was the worst injury I've seen them show the replay, other than maybe the Gerard Gowgie one that I remember.
Yeah. It looked like Nick Chubb did one last year, which was similar, which is pretty bad. But yeah, look, just having a quick look at this list, you got Neighbours and
he's gone for the season.
Yeah, Neighbours gone for the season. Tyreek out for a while. CD Lamb out for another couple of weeks. Lamar possibly out up to 3 weeks. All I'll say on the Lamar one there is don't trade him out. If you don't have to, let's wait to see what the actual news is. It's only saying 2 to 3 weeks. He does have a bye coming up in the same week as Josh Allen, which is a little bit concerning when we do get into how you're going to position your team there. So, look, I've got a couple of ideas on what I'll do if Lamar's out. But at the moment, I think you should be keeping him in, particularly depending on who your backup quarterback is, whether you've got like a Cam Ward if you're still held on to him, or if JJ McCarthy's back yet, or even like a Jackson Dart. So hold out on Lamar, but I can see why people are panicking on all the injured people. But yeah, I think the biggest news this week, and probably going to have a lot of humble pie for this one, I've been so high on Jamar Chase because of how good he is, but even I can't be that stubborn anymore.
It's 23 yards, not quite.
No.
Tickling your fancy.
Jamar Chase is the number 2 most traded out person this week, and with what Jake Browning has thrown up, yes, Denver's a good defense, but it's just,
mate, Denver's a great defense. In his defense, mate.
Yeah, I can see that, but it's just like, I think if you don't I'm worried about how much more money he's going to lose now and how many more points I'm missing out on. If I did Jamar Chase to Jackson Smith and Jigba last week, I'm over, I'm up around 530, 540 points, which is a good score there. So, and that was something I was considering last week with another player. But yeah, I think
he's going to lose. Jamar Chase is going to lose $3 million this week. He's already lost $3.7 million.
His break-even's 84.
His break-even is 84. He doesn't even look like he's going to get bloody 8 at the moment, the way he's playing.
He beat it by 1 this week.
Yeah, so, massive 9. Get rid of Jamar Chase, get rid of Chase Brown. and just forget it ever happened.
Look, I put my hand up if you listened to me and said I kept Jamar Chase because this prick's been going on about it. I apologise profusely because I still had high hopes. He is still one of the top receivers in this league, if not the best receiver. It's just unfortunate that they have one of the worst O-lines, probably the worst O-line, a terrible defence, and a bloke who can't throw the ball at the moment. Yeah. It's shocking. Like the top fantasy scorer, the top Supercoach scorer for the Cincinnati Bengals this week was Chase Brown with 17 points. And then they had Browning with 10, and then everyone else was single digits or just didn't register a score, which is absolutely appalling.
Aptly named Jake Browning because he's made the entire Cincinnati team shit the bed in Supercoach. Moving on. The number 6, we've touched on those guys that are all injured or under an injury cloud, including Lamar, CD, Tyreek Hill. Number 6 most traded out play this week. I think this is an interesting one, is Brock Bowers. 2.6% of people traded him out. He lost $1.4 million this week, and he hasn't looked quite as good as he did last year. What do you guys make of this?
I don't think it's his fault. I don't think they're using him well at all. He's still the same player. I was reading that last year he didn't have a 3-game stretch as bad as what he's having at the moment for his whole season. So, it's a bit of a worry, and it's more to do with the Raiders and how they're using him, I feel. Yeah,
I completely agree with you there, Doss. I think, they're just not using him correctly, and I still have hopes for Bowers. He's someone that I can definitely see why people are panicking and getting rid of him. There's some seemingly better options out there, but when you type in and have a look at what everyone's saying and all like your pro fantasy people out there over in the States, they're all saying that this is the time to buy low on Brock Bowers because his floor has never been lower. So, I personally think that I'm going to keep with Brock Bowers for the moment. He's still getting double-digit scores for me, so I'm not too upset. Like, just having a look, he had that 100-yard game against the Pats first up, but he's had 5 receptions, 4 receptions, 5 receptions the last couple of weeks. So he's still getting the receptions. 19 receptions for 225 yards, but no touchdowns yet this year.
Yeah, he's still on the field like all the time as well. His snap percentage is still great, like in high 70s or low 80s.
Yeah, exactly. So if he's still getting targeted, he's still getting those receptions. I'm still happy to keep him there for the moment. I don't think it's anywhere near as bad as my advice on Jamar Chase. Brock Bowers, surely Geno starts to connect with him more from here.
I think I'm holding on to him, and I'm going to start warring over him this week just to change it up, and hopefully he'll see that he's on my bench and he'll go off because that's the way it's been going lately.
Yeah, definitely. Like my thing here is that I've got Harold Fannin Jr. on the bench for me, who he scores so far this year. He scored 19, 14, 8 and 6. He's still plodding along making cash for me at the moment. Not too much. So I don't really have an option to swap him out for Bowers. So I'm more than happy to keep Bowers going there. I've got both my tight ends are playing each other this week, so we'll see how we go. But, yeah, don't panic on Brock Bowers yet, guys. He's obviously going through a rough patch, but aren't we all at the moment?
Yeah.
So persist.
What about, will you guys be persisting if you're an owner with Derrick Henry?
It's a bit worrying, I think, though. I don't know what you guys think about old Derek. We'll get into that, obviously. But
eight carries this week's a bit rough.
Mate, he's had such a tough run the first 4 weeks. Buffalo, awesome team. He scored really well against them. Cleveland, where he only scored 4 points, they've actually got a half-decent defense. Like we saw what they did against Green Bay the next week. Detroit, also good. Kansas City, also good. Plus, he lost Lamar, so that he lost that dual threat option. I think at the moment, he's lost $5.2 million already, which is pretty crazy. Pretty tough run of games coming up as well. I personally think at the moment, for that price, there's probably some better players out there as well. So, yeah, look, it's not looking good for the Ravens at the moment. I think purely if Lamar's out, you have to probably get rid of Derek because even though they're going to try and lean on him He's not going to have as many opportunities.
That was going to be my question. If Lamar is out, do they just go all in on Derrick Henry?
I think my other advice is going to be just look at your stocks this week with the buys as well.
Yeah.
It's if you can actually afford to trade him because you might already be down a couple of running backs and actually just have to keep him this week.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, he does have a bye in 3 weeks. So
Yeah.
there's something to keep in mind as well. He has a bye week 7 as quite a few guys do. It looks like that'll be a bit of a nightmare one in that week. So I guess moving on from him, Travis Hunter's number 8. We've spoken about him a couple times. Like,
If you still got Travis Hunter,
he's now
bin
lost
him.
money on the season.
Yeah.
Yeah, which is crazy considering what he started at. So I think you got to bin him.
Yeah.
Number 9, Lad McConkey, who's I think that this is some pretty fair panic, to be honest. He lost $2 million last week. He didn't even start like that much. So he's lost $3.4 million for the season. So he started a bit under $15 million.
Yeah.
And he's just absolutely hemorrhaging cash and does not look like he's just getting the same looks as he did last year.
Mate, at the start of the season, I had Lad in my team, and I wasn't concerned. I'm so glad I don't have him. I wasn't concerned about the other receivers. I was concerned about the running game taking over. Now I'm concerned about the other receivers. He's pretty much their wide receiver 3.
Yeah.
He's their third option in the passing game now. So he had it's just bad. It's pure bad.
And then there's guys available around his price that have been more consistent. You got Deebo Samuel, Pittman Jr., DK Metcalf. These guys around that price who are putting up better numbers each week. And like I'm pretty high on DK as well. I think he just is someone around that price that's going. It looks like he's going to keep going up in price as well. But yeah, I think it's time to probably be a bit stressed if you've got Lad.
Yeah, and it's clearly just the way they're using him as well. So like last year after week 8, I think he had. After week 8, he didn't have one game where he had less than 10 yards per catch.
Yeah.
This year, he's pretty much right around 10 yards per catch. Like, he had less than that in, like, week 2. And, like, one catch on 6 targets for 11 yards is, that's not cutting it.
I think this year, like, Keenan Allen was Justin Herbert's favourite target when he was there. Yep. Awesome receiver, went away to Chicago for the year, pretty average year. He's come back and he's picked up where he left off. Plus, we've also got the emergence of Quentin Johnson. So, there's going to be games where he eats, but as Eden was saying before, there's blokes like your DK Metcalfs who are almost guaranteed to get those targets around the same sort of price as him as well. So, jump off before he loses too much because I don't think there's any point in keeping a bloke who's not going to be consistently scoring.
A guy that has been consistently scoring, but some people, for some reason, other than he's got a bye this week, are getting off is Roma Dunze. He's the number 10 most traded out player this week. I think this is absolutely ridiculous.
I purely think this is a knee-jerk reaction to the bye. So, guys, if you have a bye, don't trade him out if you have people that are able to play on your bench. Yep. Put him on the bench for the week. Trade someone in. For example, like what I've got, I could get into it. No, I'll get into it now. Like I had Igbuka still on my bench this week, so I've swapped him in for Adunze. So Adunze's not going to score for me, but he's going to remain on my bench like he should. There's no point in getting rid of him. He's putting up some serious numbers. Caleb Williams, his quarterback, is a top 10 Supercoach player so far this season, and he's going to him consistently. Like he's had scores of 25, 56, 27, 29. He's consistently getting the ball.
Yeah, he's now the third highest scoring wide receiver in Supercoach this season, and he's gone up $6 million, and he's going to keep going up in money and keep making you money. And then who knows? You could eventually trade him to an out-and-out gun, but the way he's going, he could be that out-and-out gun anyway. So do not trade him.
See, I think the biggest thing this year that I've found with Supercoach is, and it's previous to different years when I've done draft, but I think the receiver position isn't as guaranteed as what it's ever been before.
Yeah.
So, like, your running backs seem to be the ones who are scoring consistently. We're going back to that ground and pound sort of play style. Receivers have been so hard to find consistency. There's only 2 blokes, really, in my opinion, who have been proper consistent, and that's Puka and Roma Dunze. So there's no point in getting rid of those blokes if they're going to keep performing for. Oh, and of course St. Brown as well. So there's no point in getting rid of those sort of blokes when they're consistently scoring for you. So keep Rome, put him on the bench, and put like one of your rookies in for a week. You might not get as many points, but hopefully. Maybe he's your least scorer or you get like a double-digit score out of him.
Couldn't agree more. So, all right, Boys, before we get into our trade options and the biggest trade-ins this week and captaincy calls and all the rest, we've got to give a huge shout-out to our sponsor, Sasha Legal.
Yeah, think of them like your set and forget captain in the courtroom. There's no DMPs, no dud picks, just straight wins, baby.
Exactly. When it comes to disputes and litigation, Sasha Legal is like locking in a premium QB1 as captain. Hopefully it was Josh Allen this week. No wasted trades. They don't loophole arguments. They just rack up points week after week.
That's it, mate. Let's be real. In Supercoach, we all make rookie mistakes, like getting too pissed on the weekend at some point. But in law, you don't want that. Sasha Legal is the premium pick. The point of difference, that always delivers.
Your case is their grand final. Every move counts, and Sasha Legal plays the full 80, or in the NFL's case, the full 4 quarters.
So if you need serious legal muscle off the field, lock them in. Sasha Legal is your captain's choice for litigation. They have offices in Sydney and Brisbane, but it doesn't matter where you're based. Reach out and they can look after you. To do so, just flick them a message on Instagram at sasha.legal, call them on 0731852404 or email info@sashalegal.com.au.
Very good. So moving on to the biggest trade-ins this week. Number one, are we buying the hype? George Pickens, number one, 14.5% of trades. He was amazing in that bizarre tie game.
Mate, you know what? This one I'm so on the fence with. I feel like I want Pickens, but I don't know if I do because CD's coming back. But George Pickens has all the talent in the world. Everything you hear about him, when he was at the Steelers, he's got all that talent, but he's just a prick. I think he's gonna absolutely excel at the Cowboys. He looked so good on the weekend. Dak's looking awesome as well, and now he has that trust with Pickens. You'd think so. When CD comes back, are both of them going to eat? Is it going to be like 2023 when Cooks and CD and everyone were all just doing so well? Like, I personally think I'm not looking. I'm genuinely on the fence. I don't know what you should be doing here. Like, I could definitely see the upside. My only thing is, like, if CD comes back, is he going to have the same sort of production? Like,
I'm personally so glad that you just don't have to draft their personalities as well. You just don't have to trade in their personalities as well. Because if not, if you did, I'd be avoiding George Pickens.
100%. Just looking at his scores, the first week in a new offense and a new team, he had 9. Understandable. The next week against the Giants, he had 30 points. And then when CD was out, he had 30 points against Chicago and then put up 58 on the weekend. So, look, consistency's there bar that first week. So he could be an option around that 14.5 mil. He's made 3.4 on the year and he's got a break even of -11. So he is going to make you cash.
Think if you're going to buy him, probably buy him this week because I would be worried about CD as well coming back. CD's not on IR and he's going to come back, probably in the next few weeks. But that means you might get a few weeks of Pickens making you a fair bit of money and scoring a lot of points.
Yeah.
But then this is the issue. If CD comes back earlier, you're stuck with a probably overpriced WR2 in your roster that's not getting the looks anymore that CD is now getting. So It's a really tough one. I'm personally not going there, but at 14 million G's, it is tempting the way the numbers he's put up. But I just think there's too much risk with CD probably not far away.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, I reckon he's even just at that price, even though he is almost 50 million, he's still, I think, a pretty good cash grab because I think even in the next few weeks, like he's going to get a lot of targets. Like his targets have slowly gone up. His yards per target have gone up. Literally every stat pretty much has increased every week with Pickens. So I think he's sort of settling in there by the looks of things, and we'll get that target share going forward.
Yeah, see, my only issue with bringing him in now is, like, when we talk about trades and stuff, like, are you bringing in too many people for these 4-week injuries that by the end of the 18 weeks, are you going to not have your trades that you need? Like, you could fall short with your trades and potentially ruin your season towards the end. Like, is Pickens someone you're going to keep towards the end of the year? Is something I'd be considering.
Pick and stick?
Yeah, like a pick and stick, yeah. So, Looking at the next couple of fellas, I think this is a bit of a knee-jerk reaction, but a necessary reaction to how bad Jamar Chase and the injury of Malik Neighbours is. Puka Nacua and Amon-Ra St. Brown coming in. I think if you need these two players.
Couldn't agree more. If you could only get one of them in this week, and like let's say you've got someone that's gone down, if you could only get one of these guys in this week, which one are you picking between Amon-Ra and Puka?
Puka, his numbers are absolutely insane. He's like on track for breaking records the way that he's going. I know that he probably won't continue, but I just can't say no to that. It's crazy, like what he's doing.
Matthew Stafford is doing with Puka what he did with Cooper Kupp a few seasons ago, which is scary because anyone that came up against Cooper Kupp and that Matt Stafford combo knows that you're probably going to lose all your matchups. So, yeah, look, if you're just doing it based off the best matchup this week, I think Amon-Ra against Cincinnati is ridiculous because Cincy's D sucks. But from a season standpoint, which is what you should be looking at, Puka Nacua is the absolute number one option here.
He's got 100 more yards than Smith and Jigba, who's in second for receiving yards this season, and then 180 more yards than Quentin Johnson, who's in third this season for receiving yards. Is how, and it's only been 5 weeks?
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
Like the amount of targets he's getting is like absolutely ridiculous as well. Like I know he missed time last year. He played 11 games, but he had 106 targets this year. 106 targets last year. Sorry, this year through 4 games is already up to 50. So he is just like he's on track for more than 200 targets, which is absolutely absurd. Just that amount of footy, like you just need that guy in your team. It's just going to lead to points.
He's the second player in the Super Bowl era with 40 plus receptions and 500 receiving yards in the first 4 games of the season. Second player ever in the Super Bowl era.
Yeah, and as we said before, we know Matt Stafford's a guy that just absolutely funnels it to his best guys as well. Number 4 most traded in player. I'm assuming that this would be all the people that are trading out Lamar Jackson this week, but it's Josh Allen. And we've sort of said before, if you need to have at least... Well, we all recommend having both of these two guys because I think they're the best 2 guys. If you're one of these guys that has Lamar Jackson and he is injured and you don't have Josh Allen, I'd recommend getting in Josh Allen anyway. But if you don't have him, fair enough trade on that one. Get him in. Pretty easy option for Lamar. Although Patrick Mahomes is the 6th most traded in player this week. The Chiefs looked back. Against the Ravens.
They didn't look too bad. But as I said, the Ravens' D is not what it used to be anymore. But Patty Mahomes is looking pretty good there. He seems like he needs to sling the ball a bit more this year. And he's been running a bit more as well, which has been interesting. But he's put up some decent scores, 51, 45, 25, and 54. So... I'm quite surprised because he hasn't been a fantasy or a draft, like a super coach option the last couple of seasons. So, I can see the upside there. And he's got Jacksonville this week, who Jacksonville's been sneaky good this year. They got a couple of tough games coming up, but I can see why Mahomes is coming in. But I think Josh Allen's going to be the number 1 super coach player this year. Regardless of how much time Lamar has out, like he just looks like he's missed the consistency this year. Keon Coleman's coming along better. He's got a good rapport with Khalil Shakir. James Cook's gone to another level since getting his contract. So, I think if you're going to look at bringing someone in this week and you don't have either of those two, probably Josh Allen's your option there.
Yeah, crazy Pat Mahomes stat as well. It was his first 4 passing touchdown game in just about 2 years as well, which was just pretty nuts. They're the 5th most traded in play this week is Quentin Johnson. Very, very similarly priced to George Pickens. For me, I'm thinking that Pickens is the better option over Quentin Johnson this week. Do you guys agree?
I disagree.
Really?
Ooh.
Yeah. Now, I think I said at the start of the year, Quentin Johnson has that random, he'll do 3 or 4 good games a year. Quentin Johnson, people forget, was a first-round pick for the Chargers. Quentin Johnson is now in an offense where he's got Lab McConkey and Keenan Allen, and they've got the run game going, and Herbert's playing at a phenomenal rate. I think Joe Alt went off injured on the weekend. I'm not too sure on he's one of the tackles. I'm not too sure on his status, but Quentin Johnson at that price when he is absolutely cooking and will be cooking for the rest of the year is someone that I'm quite interested in.
So you've got him there as someone that you can buy and just have for the rest of the season.
I think so. Yeah. I think I was actually talking to friend of the podcast, hasn't been on, but Jack Cronin, Caesar's Palace, who is a massive fantasy nufty, and I was having a discussion with him off camera, saying, "Mate, what do you think of him?" And I think he's actually it for once. So he's put up scores of 44, 29, 23, and 39. So I'm definitely looking at him as someone who could come into my team as an injury replacement. He's a couple of years in the league now. He's only 24. It's looking good for him, though. I think, like, you have a look at his receptions as well. He's had 22 receptions on the year already by the look of things.
He's certainly been like one of the breakout players of this year so far. I don't think it's any denying that. But I think that with the type of output from that Dallas offense, with how terrible the Dallas defense is, like, they're going to be in a lot of shootouts, I think. And with no CD for at least another few weeks yet, I think Pickens is probably the personal option for me, but I would understand guys going.
I think it just depends what you want. Like, I feel like Pickens, you're going to make more cash quicker, but then there's a chance down the line where you will have to trade him out. Whereas the way Quinton's going, you know that he's probably pretty secure in his role for the whole season there. So I actually wasn't even aware of how good Quentin Johnston's numbers had been. I knew they were good, but I didn't realize they were this good. So he's definitely one that I can understand why people are buying. I'm probably leaning towards Pickens, only because of the money making ability. Like, he'll go up another 2 or 3 million if you were to get him this week alone. Whereas Quentin Johnston's going to go up about 750K. But again, if you're going to keep Quentin Johnston for the season, it doesn't really matter.
Just having a look as well, Quentin Johnston's owned by 7% of teams at the moment, as opposed to 5% from George Pickens. So Pickens isn't owned by as many. There's about 500 coach difference in that. But at the time of us recording, like,
3 times as many trade-ins from George Pickens so
Three
far.
times as many trade-ins, which is pretty crazy. So, the way I try and look at my team is from a longevity standpoint. I'm trying to keep people so that I can save my trades towards the end of the year to try and make a bit of a pounce. But yeah, like, I can see, as I said, I can see the upside for both of them, but I'm higher on Quentin Johnston at the moment.
Yeah, see, I think for me personally, just in terms of saving your trades, I think for me personally, you can't take them with you. So I'm looking.
Famous last words, brother.
I'm looking like, look, if it doesn't work out for me and my team just completely, everyone gets injured and it all, falls apart.
Yeah.
I guess that's the way it is. You got to risk it for the biscuit. But I think I'm trying to build build that cash up and get that team value high early, and then reap the rewards later on in the year. I think moving on to the number 7 most traded in play this week, I think is a bit bizarre, to be honest, is Darren Waller, tight end from Miami. Played his first game of the season against the Jets, had 27 yards, but he caught 2 touchdowns. Had like 3 catches, 2 of them for touchdowns. I think this is just chasing last week's points as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah.
He's 33 years old.
Yeah.
He had 12 games at the Giants, I think it was, and he scored 1 touchdown the whole time. So I feel like that might have been an outlier.
We can't take into consideration people's stats at the Giants because they are a huge pile of shit. Look at Danny Dimes, what he's doing now. You know what? Like, I think as a cash option, Darren Waller is going to be, particularly with Tyreek Hill out now. I was listening to the coverage today on this game, actually, and they were saying that Tua during the week has said he's never had someone of the sheer size and the leaping and red zone ability of Darren Waller. So whenever they got to the red zone, he looked for Waller straight away. There was also 3 occasions from the top of my mind at the moment where Waller went into open space, but Tua was looking in the complete opposite direction and just didn't throw to him. So I actually don't mind this as a bit of a point of difference. He's only on 197 teams at the moment and owned by 1% of people. So I think don't bring him in yet. It is his first week. Wait to see what happens this coming week against Carolina, who Carolina obviously gave up points to another tight end, Derrick Henry, as well. So wait and see what happens because people forget how good Waller was. At one point, he was a top 5 fantasy option. He's a lot older now. I get that, but I think
that was back when dinosaurs were on the earth.
Situationally, though, Mr. 4000, we need to have a look at in different situations. Darren Waller can be a very effective touchdown merchant in the red zone, and when you're getting 12 points a touchdown, like 24 points from 2 touchdowns, is ridiculous.
Put it this way, I certainly wouldn't. If I was trading him in this week, I certainly wouldn't be starting him. I'd just be sitting him on my bench, so I'm not worried about. Is he gonna cash in and is he gonna score all these touchdowns this week? You don't need that stress in your life. Just sit him on your bench so he can generate that cash for you if that's the way that you're choosing to go. Will not be doing that myself, but if you are trading in Darren Waller, I wouldn't start him personally. Against Carolina,
he's a cash option, he's a bench option, but
even
watch him
Carolina,
for the next couple of weeks.
Yeah, I'd just watch him again. Who knows? It might be a regular occurrence of him. He just leapt over Sauce Gardner, which was pretty impressive for an old fella. But I wouldn't be rushing in to get him just yet.
Another guy people are rushing to get in is Jackson Dart, QB from the Giants. You just call them a big steaming pile of shit, Clutsy.
Well, they have been in previous years, but
Jackson
I
Dart
believe in
looks
him.
good, though.
Yeah, I think Jackson Dart is a dual threat quarterback. He's got that run option in him. I like him and Scat together. Scatterbo had a massive game on the weekend as well. I think 25 carries, Eden said. But I think Jackson's dual threat ability, he's also he reminds me of a bit of Drake May last year. He's just having a dig. So he's going to run around. He's
just having a go. Good on him.
He's going to throw some touchdowns. He's going to do that sort of stuff. So Jackson Dart, I think out of all the rookie quarterbacks at the moment,
he looks the goods.
He looks the goods. My only concern is what's going to happen with no Malik Neighbours, but he seemed to do all right without him on the weekend. But going forward, like, can Darius Slayton and Wandale Robinson step up and provide when they need to? So, yeah, look, I'm going to wait and see how he goes this week against New Orleans, which you assume he'll go quite well, but I could definitely see him as someone I'll be bringing in instead of McCarthy, who hopefully plays a game and makes me some coin.
Well, yeah, that's the other one. I've just got JJ McCarthy sitting there on my bench doing nothing.
Running away.
Yeah, I'm wondering when he's going to be back.
The other thing to think of is if Jackson Dart goes well this week, coming up in a couple of weeks' time, we do have Josh Allen and Lamar Jackson on a bye during the same week. So that's week 7. If Lamar's missed the next 2 games, you don't have him for the next 3 weeks. Is there a possibility of bringing in Jackson Dart and stashing him if he does well and then putting him into play in week 7?
The other thing to consider is Dart won't change in price this week. So, again, if you want to wait and see how he goes this week, it's not going to cost you any money or anything like that. So
the only issue I have with bringing him in week 7, if that's what you're looking at, is he is playing against Denver. So
the almighty Denver defense that held Cam Ward, I think, to 4 Supercoach points.
He did put up 38 against the Chargers, who've been good this year. So, I can definitely see why people are bringing Dart in. I wouldn't be mad with having him there.
10 attempts is good.
Yeah.
It's good for Supercoach. Number 9, most traded in play this week is Jake Ferguson. This is also, I think, the effect of CeeDee Lamb going down because he was also targeted heavily against the Jets in that game too.
I'm not looking at Ferguson. I heard somewhere today, I think it might be his first touchdown he scored in 2 years or something like that.
That can't be right.
So, he's always been an option there, but he's not someone I'm looking at.
Oh my God, that's right. I feel like he didn't score a touchdown at all last year.
He's the second highest scoring tight end in Supercoach this season, which took me by surprise.
He's got 34 receptions, which is a lot. So
he's been great.
He could be, but I think this is another, as you said, a CD thing. Is he a long-term? Is he going to pan out long-term? Last year, his season was 59 receptions for 494 yards and no touchdowns. Previous year, 71 receptions, 761 yards and 5 touchdowns. I'm probably not looking at someone his 2023 season was great when they were good, but they're not that good this year. They are going to be, as I said, throwing the ball heaps.
He's a number 2 tight end in Supercoach.
Yeah, correct. But I don't think going forward with CeeDee Lamb, he's going to be. I'm just not looking at him. He's not a touchdown scorer.
I'm surprised that more people aren't looking at Hunter Henry, to be honest.
Yeah, well, on that, if you are getting worried about Brock Bowers and the fact that he's losing money. Jake Ferguson's going to go up another. His break even is -5, so he'll go up another 1 or 2 million this week as well. But again, it's just how much the tight end position is hard. There's a lot of tight ends that are very, very close in scoring. So I wouldn't be spending $10 million on Jake Ferguson, but that's just me.
He's only put up scores of 9, 24, 29 and 27. He might be the second best, but is it worth burning a trade on a position that's not going to score you many points anyway, when you can probably do that with a running back or a clear-cut receiver?
Because I think a lot of people are probably going Bowers to Ferguson, which I just think is just a waste of a trade.
Yeah, agreed.
Agreed?
Yeah, agreed. Yeah. I don't think you should be, definitely doing that.
All right, number 10. To me, this is just hilarious. Murray Hampton. I'm one of the idiots that traded him out a couple of weeks ago. Sure, shame on me. I'm not getting him back in. No. I made my bed. I'm sleeping in it.
If you got rid of him, exactly. If you got rid of him, you made your bed. You've slept there. You've absolutely cooked it. He's up to almost $10 million now. Like, that's a lot to bring in. He's made, $6 million already. He's going to keep making money. I think with Najee Harris out now, he's going to be awesome. But is it worth investing more money to bring a guy back in?
If you did want to bring him back in, I feel like you missed the boat. You cooked it up.
Yeah, you missed the boat as well, because he just went up 3.1 million. Yeah. The ship sailed, buddy. Yeah. Tough luck.
Definitely.
And tough luck if you trade him out like I did, because I'm a big dumb idiot. Moving on to trades for this week. The trades I am making, I'm personally saying farewell to Jamar Chase and Ladd McConkey. They're both gone, and I'm bringing in Pickens and Nakua. I think for the reasons that we've stated previously, I think that they're just the best two options in terms of wide receivers to bring in. And at the moment, Chase and McConkey, they're just hemorrhaging too much cash. They're not performing. And it's not like their problems, I think, will be fixed overnight.
Yeah.
That's why I just think, for me personally, Chase and McConkey to Pickens and Nakua. Burn the trades. Can't take them with you. I'm going all in. I'm not going to go boost this week, though. So I've still got 2 of those left. And after this week, I think I've only got 17 trades left. But you know what? That's all right. My team's looking great. We're on the up. Everything's going cruisy now at Loop the Loop FC.
That's a stark contrast to when you had your head in your hands.
last week, and I had to console you.
With the most amount of head noise I've seen in a man for a long time. Now, I've got a couple of trades I'm making. One due to injury. Malik Neighbours is out of the team. Farewell. You've done well for me this year at times. But I'm bringing in Jackson Smith and Jigba, the second most receiving yards. I really, really, really want him to start improving with his touchdowns. Yeah. He missed out on 1 or 2 on the weekend, which would have been nice. The other one, I'm having my humble pie. I'm getting rid of Jamar Chase before it gets too late. Yep. And I'm bringing in Quentin Johnson, hoping that he's going to keep up with that consistency. They've got Washington this week, the Chargers, so I'm excited to see what happens there. He's only got a break even of 16, so hopefully he'll go quite well, keep bringing it in. Another trade I'm looking to possibly make is...
how many have you got left?
20.
Been saving him.
Yeah. So the other trade I'm looking at possibly doing is Irving to Cook. Now, Eden's been high on Cook all year. Cook is currently the number 1 ranked running back with 166 points on the season, and he's only owned by less than 10% of the league. So I think he's a bit of a point of difference there. Irving's owned by a fair bit. Irving, though, does have his O-line coming back, which isn't nothing. And Tampa are playing really, really well. So that's a possibility. I might not make that trade. I'm not sure yet. The other trade I am thinking about, though, is if Lamar is out, I want to have that second QB option. So I will trade out. I've got about $7 million in the bank at the moment. Nice. So if I make a trade there, it'll be McCarthy for Jackson Dart and putting Dart into my flex position.
Nice. Yep, I'll likely do the same thing if Lamar is out. I'll make that same trade and stick Dart in.
Yeah, I'm waiting to see what happens with Lamar. Obviously, we don't know the full extent of that injury yet. The one trade I have locked in is Jamar Chase to Puka. I think that's probably the most popular trade this week and the easiest trade to make this week. Probably a pretty low risk trade as well. So, but who knows? By the time the first game starts, there might be a few more trades going down in my team. But we'll see.
See if the trade bug gets the best of you there. I did consider JSN as well, but I tried to get him in, but I think about 180k short of that. I had $5 million in the bank, not enough. So I'm just short of being able to do that one.
A couple of those trades you were keen to burn really coming to bite you in the arse here. Tyquan Thornton.
Yeah, that's all right, mate.
What a great guy he is.
Yeah, mate, he scored 15 points on the weekend. Don't care if it was only one catch or whatever it was, 1 or 2 catches. That's all right. Scored a touchdown for me. Onwards and upwards. Captaincy options this week, particularly with the injury cloud over Lamar. I'm assuming that we're all going Josh Allen this week.
Yeah. I'm excited, mate. Prime time, Patriots, Bills.
Jeez, it sucks that he's playing against that team, doesn't it, Eden?
It's going to be a shootout.
It's going to be a shootout. He's been going really
Another
well.
40-40 tie on Sunday Night Football?
Absolutely not. I think it's going to be a very close game, actually. But history says here he's played against New England 12 times, highest score of 64, lowest of 22. His average is 38 and he's projected to get 42.
It's not the best average.
It's not the best average, but I'd love
because
to
they're always winning by 100. And
exactly. This is the most competitive that New England's been in probably the last 3 years. So, look, he's my captaincy option, I think. I do have a backup option that I'm considering, and it's a little bit left of field, but Amon-Ra St. Brown against the Cincinnati defense. I haven't gone away from a quarterback this year. I think it's a little bit risky to go for Amon-Ra St. Brown. But look, against Cincy and how bad they are, I think he could put up some huge numbers.
Yeah, would you consider VCing him? Because I'm personally just going to VC Puka's playing Thursday Night Football against San Fran. And, if he goes off, consider looping him there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's a really good option.
Yeah, I think just on that, for those that don't know much about looping players, I had a few people ask me about it this week. What you need to do is you have someone that's not playing. So for me, it's Ryan Coe, the kicker from Tampa Bay. I held on to him since he's not playing. And then you have to put the captaincy onto them once you sub them in. What sort of score are you looking at to consider looping? Because I know there would have been some people that that VC'd Josh Allen last week, 51. For me, it's probably not enough. For me, I'm probably thinking 60 plus, at least to loop.
Mate, I actually I was going to say I'm probably content with the score of 40 or more.
Really?
Yeah. I'm probably content with that because, well, look what happened with Lamar this week. Lamar scored 22 and went out injured. I've missed out on 60 points this week.
Oh, reach for the stars.
If Puka puts up over 50, I'd be really tempted.
Yeah.
Yeah, right, okay. Fair enough.
Only because Josh Allen's history against the Patriots, as much as I think he will score well this time around, because I think it will be a very competitive match, like, it does worry me a bit that his average is 38, and he does. I just looked at some of his box scores. Like, there are games there where it's 1 touchdown, 1 interception, 150 yards. So that's in the back of my mind. If Puka goes off and goes 50 plus, then I probably will loop.
Are you game enough to start the New England defense this week?
No, because the Philly Eagles defense have come good, and they're going to make Bo Nix's life hell. So,
yeah. So,
4 touchdowns and 2 pick sixes for Josh Allen potentially. You'd be hoping for them. Just get
look, it'll be good, mate. As long as it's like that's the other thing. I'm basically cooked this week with defense.
I also just want to watch my captain in prime time. Like, it's so good.
Yeah. It's it always gives you a bit of that extra morale boost.
I'm actually very intrigued by what you said with Puka. I think that might be a better VC option.
I think because it gives yourself the couple of days, particularly with the NRL Grand Final, as we said, coming up. Make sure that you have yourself set. Don't be relying on yourself waking up at 3 a.m. or 2:50 or something like that, to check out your VC or C options, whatever. Yeah,
won't have to wake up, mate. I'll still be charging. So, no, I reckon this week definitely VC Puka and have the C on Josh Allen. But yeah, you guys have both turned me to that.
Yeah, all right, very good. Well, I think that's just about all we have time for this week. Thank you very much for listening. Make sure that you're giving us a follow on our socials at SC Playbook NFL on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, and TikTok. And make sure that you're subscribed to the podcast as well. Hopefully a big week coming up. I know that if you're an NRL fan, it'll definitely be a big week coming up. So as we said, make sure that you get your lineups, your captaincy, all the rest. Get that sorted early because it's certainly going to be a big week for the NRL and also for the NFL too.